ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। శుభ సంధ్య అందరికి. హలో హలో
సార్ నమస్కారం.
నమస్కారం సార్, నమస్కారం. యా
Sir, I was supposed to pick up the revision today, sir.
యా ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ. చెప్పండి సార్.
Sir, there was a clarification given by you in the last class about the experience of the womb, which is more relevant to the second row understanding, whereas existence is the experience of the first row persons. The first row persons are in a dilemma or unsure of whether they exist or not. So the central experience of hydrogen is the idea of existence, whereas the central experience of the second row lithium, beryllium, boron and carbon etc. is a baby within a womb. And you gave an example of the hydrogen. Actually, you said that the idea for hydrogen is flare-up, the immediate reflexes and the acute miasms. And there was a girl about 17 years old who always competed with her brother. I mean, she was suffering from PCOD and she always used to compete with her brother, and frustrated, she wanted to end her life expressing that, do I exist for this family or not? The idea of the persons belonging to the left side of the second row is that they are comfortable, cozy, warm and happy under the supervision of another person, or they are fine when they are under other persons. They never complain about their individuality and are not concerned with identity, security or responsibility, etc. These ideas, which are in the psyche of the persons, will be carried out in their expressions at some point of time, unless and until they are in a compensated state. The more a person is compensated, the more he is prone to illness. But even these persons' experience can be elicited, or we can get some idea about this person either during case taking, external manifestations, the way he behaves, or the way he deals with his daily routine in life. These second row persons express their experience by wearing fur caps, wearing cozy clothes or woolen clothes, and when they are questioned as to why they wear these types of clothes, they will express that they feel good by the warmth of these clothes, by the warmth these clothes provide. Similarly, if we ask a mollusk person to come for a photograph, he would say that he doesn't want to because of the experience of the bivalves or gastropods, that they are not comfortable with exposure to social life, which is opposed to a leonine, platinum or an aurum person. Persons belonging to the third row start thinking, who am I? So they start getting some idea of their identity, relationships, love, care and nourishment, etc. The main concern of the third row persons throughout their life is mainly identity. There is rise and fall as we go from left to right side of the fourth row onwards of the periodic table, but you had said that some persons had asked about no issue of fall in the third row. That is because the identity relates to the psyche of the persons. That is, you can say that the person, one's name never loses it. The issue for the fourth row persons is family and security after existence, coziness, identity, etc. of the earlier rows. These persons are born with, there is a saying that these persons are born with passbooks, die with passports. Their main idea is to earn and security due to their belief that these are the things which are going to give them security, which is the diseased part, because security isn't provided by material things and it's a temporary thing. Their mind cannot understand this in a diseased condition, and hence the person is in a delusion that these material things provide security. After having existence, coziness, identity and security, the main issue for the fifth row persons is to perform and be creative. Metals belonging to this row are shiny and glittery, which gives them luster. After all the issues relating to earlier rows, the main issue for the sixth row persons is leadership, nobility, duty and responsibility, which is maximum in the 10th column persons, and from there the persons experience losing these things in the right side of the periodic table. Generally, a husband and wife are, you had given this example, generally that a husband and wife are united from different polarities, where if the husband is not satisfied with the cooperation of the wife, he becomes compensated and develops ill health and pathological conditions. Similar is the case with the wife. Coming to cesium, the main thing is that I lack the ability of being individual, responsible, duty-minded, but it's fine for me. At the same time, these persons are a bit concerned that they lack those qualities. In general, the persons belonging to the first column are clingy towards the main idea of the row, that is, ally are clingy with family, natrum are clingy with one-to-one relationship, and cesium persons are clingy with the idea that they lack the power of being individual, noble, duty-minded and responsible. In the first column persons, the row issue is minimal and the column issue is maximum. The second column gives an idea that the structure has been forming. So the barium person's central idea is my legs are cut off. They know that they need to take up responsibility, but they are dependent on someone. They do not want to depend on someone, but they have to due to the lack of their ability. So there are two contradictory ideas running in a Baraita person. I should be independent, but at the same time I have to depend on others, which makes a hell for these persons due to this contradiction. Whereas the cesium person is comfortable that he is dependent on others. Baraita persons are very syphilitic in nature, whereas the calcareous persons are soric and strontium persons are psychotic. For the 4th, 5th and 6th rows of the second column, or the second column of the 4th, 5th and 6th rows, the persons need somebody to be along with them who will hold their hand and make them walk along the path. That is, security for calcareous, mentorship, guidance to perform and be creative for strontium, and assisting in duties and responsibilities for Baraita. What we read in Kent's Materia Medica is the exact opposite. That is the dwarfish nature of Baraita, which means that the person is imbecile, childish, late learning to talk and walk. People who come to life lately, that's equivalent to the delayed milestones. Under or undeveloped, and he needs somebody as support to develop both mentally and physically. There are a number of remedies for late learners of walking and talking, in which Baraita are not restless, whereas Jinkum persons are highly restless and want to wander. Some issue of silliness is associated in Agaricus, and 6 issues are also there in Bupo, wherein masturbation is the keynote for these persons. They start masturbation very early. Baraita and Jinkum are minerals, whereas Agarica is a mushroom, and Bupo is from the animal source. And the idea for animals is sexuality, where they have to attract the opposite sex, as also in spiders, snakes, and mollusks, reptiles. So the thing which you had stressed here is people behave according to their own vital force. The Baraita persons hide themselves behind the furniture is a saying. wherein it means that they are so underdeveloped that they do not want to face the public. They lack the ability and doesn't want to take responsibility. For which you had cited a case of a boy 9 to 10 years old who was brought to you, but he didn't want to see you and hid behind his mother. And his main problem was he was not learning properly. He couldn't study or solve mathematics. He was administered Baraitaka Vanam and slowly increased the potency to 10. In a span of 3 to 4 years, he completed his 10th standard in first grade or A grade and later cleared all the Hindi language exams as he was interested in the language. There was an eruption all over the body, which was actually his symptom before the treatment had started. Earlier also he had eruptions on the skin which came back, but was treated with placebo in spite of the pressure from boy's mother. Second case, you had cited about a case by Shankaran sir, in which a lady who was suffering from joint pains, but she was not helped even after a few months of medication. So he retook the case, wherein it was revealed that she was staying in a gated community and she knew only one person who knew her language in that community. That particular lady who knew this person, the patient, died after that is an year before the patient approached Sankaran sir. So the only person whom the patient knew and with whom she had interacted with in the whole community had passed away, and the patient suffered from rheumatoid problems thereafter. When the patient was inquired about her experience after the passing away of the lady, the patient replied that she was the only person I knew and who assisted in my duties. Excuse me. Now that she is no more, I am clueless as to on whom am I to depend upon for assistance in performing my duties. How can I lead my life from the absence of the person who helped me a lot in performing my duties? So taking into account the delusion of the patient that their legs were cut off, that is, they could not move forward without the lady's support, prompted sir to administer Baraitaka, which helped the patient come out of her suffering. And a third case was cited by you about a lady who was aged 35-36 years, who was earlier undergoing treatment for sciatica and was worried about her husband. She liked her husband very much and couldn't imagine living without him. She had taken the initiative in marrying her since he was her cousin and hence liked him very much. He had lost financially in his business and this made her worried about their future since they had lived very well until now. She was very much disturbed emotionally about how they were going to live in the future. So you retook the case since she was presently suffering from hypertension and frequent pain in the chest. An angiogram was also done and though there was a small block, it was not substantial and there was some problem with the coronary artery diagnosed as atherosclerosis. Then you had asked what was the issue about her husband. Then she said that he is working very hard and I am worried if something is going to happen to him. And I am feeling anxious, restless, suffering from dyspnea and getting pain in the chest at that particular moment. So now, most of the physicians as well as you got the impression that she might belong to remedies like Ignatia, Staphylacria, Calcarean, Atropine, etc. because of the idea of one-to-one relationship or the idea of losing a person indicating Mahvese, Scrophoralise, Loganese and Rananfluense, etc. Then when you asked what would happen if something really happens to him, then the main picture came out, saying that she was worried about how she was to go about the daily routine and helping their kids. She was worried about who is going to drop them at school, who will take care of paying the electric bills and house rents, etc., and who would take care of the daily household activities. Because she said that she could not take care of all these things on her own. She also said that all these years her husband was taking care of all these things, and if anything happens to him, then she would be burdened by all these responsibilities which she could not take care of. So here the idea of all the earlier remedies vanish. With the idea of extreme disappointment of her husband's loss in business, which indicates the negativity of halogens, she was administered paracetamol and she improved very well. Her chest pain got diluted and there were no chest pains from them. Her hypertension got better and most of her mental state improved very much. Even clinically, paracetamol has affinity towards the heart and is very useful in heart conditions. But later on, her earlier complaint of sciatica cropped up, though all the symptoms were better and an acute condition developed which the patient suffered from earlier. She would have recovered had she not been administered any remedy, but another physician administered Polosin to her and her sciatica got better and heart condition deteriorated and she had left the treatment because of the heart conditions. Thank you very much.
ధన్యవాదాలు జయ్ కుమార్ గారు.
Namaskaram.
So yeah, so I think we got a good understanding of Beretta. When we go with the Beretta salts, then the picture is a little bit different. What happens is when we go through these Beretta salts, so there is Beretta acetate, Beretta iode, Beretta phos, Beretta silicatum, barium silicatum, the Beretta sulf. So there are salts of Beretta. Beretta fluor is there. So then it will be slightly different, these understandings, because when it is Beretta carb, the idea of carbon part is presented very clearly in the given patient. So we already knew about the carbon part, how the persons become cold and clammy, how they collapse. So the carbon idea, how the road to issues, the what do you say, that couldn't determine, couldn't take a decision, lot of hesitation, that in that particular spur of moment these people could not help themselves, they become cold, they become clammy. So what happens is they will ultimately collapse. That is the carbon part of understanding. So when we take the idea of Beretta, that yeah, now I should be a little bit independent. Yeah, I am depending more on the others. So am I can be independent? Am I can be responsible? Am I can be duty minded? Can I take my duties? Can I handle them? Can I do something? This idea will crop up in Beretta. So, but at the spur of moment, the idea will be that the experience will be that this person couldn't manage it and ultimately become cold and collapse. This is the general idea for Beretta carb. But when we go with the salts idea, the salts understanding, because the carbon and barium, both anion and cation, are a little bit weaker in Beretta carb, it becomes more and more highly syphilitic. But when we go through the other salts, suppose you take Beretta sulf, here the cation is barium and the anion is sulfur. Sulfur purely dominates the Beretta sulf salt. Likewise, Beretta iodium. So when we go with the iodium, Beretta iode part, so in this remedy, wherever materia medica you see the lymphatic glands are enlarged, the glandular troubles, etc. Because the iodium predominates the salt, and more iodium symptoms are seen, as like in calibromatum, where we see mostly bromine part, 90% bromine, and a weaker 10% kali. Likewise, in some salts of Beretta, we can understand this idea that when the anion grows stronger, the idea for sulf, iode, phos, silicatum predominates the remedy, predominates in the person. And at the later part, at a mere idea, we will see the Beretta issue. Whereas in Beretta car, the barium part is highlighted more, because both barium and carbon are weaker. So the barium and carbon comes together. It's a little bit, we can say like this, that it is a bit easier to find Beretta car and Beretta more. Whereas it becomes a little bit difficult when we go with the other salts of barium, the acetate, the fluor, the murat, the iodine, the silicatum, the phosphate, and the sulfur of barium, where the anions will get more and more stronger, and the cation will be seen in a weaker aspect, in a mild aspect. It will not be seen so predominantly as it was seen in the Beretta car. It will be seen, but it will be in a milder way. This is the idea for the other salts of Beretta. So there is one of my case where I gave barium silicatum. So it's a case of a young lady of about 25 to 30 years. So at first I gave calcarea silicata for that case also, because I couldn't, I got the understanding of column 2, I got the understanding of silicate, because silicata predominates the identity issues. So whenever she has to perform, she will get a little bit of anxiety, restlessness, sweats in hand, etc. So the story part had some issues of financial issues. So she wants to handle the financial issues in the story part. So with taking all this totality, I had gone with the idea for the silicata aspect and the column 2 of row 4. So barium silicatum. So the idea for the PCO case, so for first few months I gave calcarea silicata 200 and then 1M. So nothing helped much. After 4-5 months, so I stopped again, because the case was not getting well. So I thought I have to take a retake of this case, reassess the case. So I gone through the case again once more. So when I had gone through the case in the second time, I observed that I am in the story part of the case. That's what happened in the last core group case also. So those who are in the core group, they got the understanding of how to see, how to perceive, how to differentiate between the story part and the experience part. So in minerals, the case will be in a unidimensional way. So the ideas of some themes of concerning about the rows will definitely come. So there, for every person, there will be some issues for identity. So I am losing my hair, so a little bit concern about my hair. So I have some issues of financial issues. So the rate of interest are getting down. Previously it used to be some 8, etc. Now it is about 5. So the fixed deposits are not yielding much money. So how could be in the future? How could I save my money? There will be some issues. So I am telling some homeopathy online classes. So how can I manage things? How can I create? How can I perform in the coming classes? There are some issues. So there are some responsibilities concerned with me. So how should I handle my clinic? So a lot of issues regarding responsibility regarding family, some issues regarding parents, how to handle my responsibilities as son, as father, as husband, as friend, as some mentor, etc. So there will be some issues for each and every person. But we have to see whether this person's idea had been coming out in the story part itself, or is it going to repeat in the latter half of the case? Is it coming back? Is it coming back again and again? Is it the experience part? There we will miss a lot. So in the last core group case, what had happened is the person who was basically a farmer, who goes for daily labor previously. So after marriage, he got some farm, some land from his relative. So that relative gave this experience, this idea was given by the patient, that relative helped me a lot. He gave me security. He gave me confidence. He gave me everything. Now I can go into the farm. Now I am doing well in the farm. And immediately with this idea, we all looked at the issue of that the relative was the character who was going to help this person. So everyone was fallen in the idea that it is a column 2 understanding. There is a little bit of clinginess, little bit of help taken by the person, and that other guy had helped him, had given him confidence, had given him security, given him some land, assisted in financial troubles, made him something. So each and every one were looking in that aspect only, that this guy was helped by the other person, so it's a column 2 issue. Yes, definitely. But what's the experience of this person? It was happened in a story part, in the story part itself. So now the person had came with backache. It cramps the person. He could not move. The back pain aggravates by standing. The back pain aggravates by traveling. The back pain aggravates by even mere exertion. So what's the issue with this back pain? Then the person said, no, now if I will make something for that, then I can store some money. Otherwise with this backache, I should employ some people and they are looting my money. So I have to give 500 for each and every person. So I am losing my money. So what happens now? What happens during that loss? Nothing. So what happens if the farm doesn't do well? I will buy new seeds because I am already a successful person. I am a senior now. I can handle things. And whenever there is no growth of the farm, or is there any damage to the farm, is there any issues with the farm, now I can handle my responsibilities. I can do things. So then all the idea of column 2 had become vanished with this idea. What the person is speaking in the crisis situation is the person. సో ఎప్పుడైతే ఒక వ్యక్తి తన తాలూకు క్రైసిస్ సిచ్యువేషన్లో, తనకు వచ్చినటువంటి ఇబ్బందుల్లో, తనకు వచ్చినటువంటి కష్టాల్లో, తనకు వచ్చినటువంటి పరిస్థితుల్లో ఏ రకమైనటువంటి రూపు అక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రాణశక్తి లేదా చైతన్యం సంతరించుకుంటుందో అది మాత్రమే సెన్సేషన్ తప్ప వాట్ ఎవర్ ద పర్సన్ tells you, yes, it gives some idea about that person, definitely, as we said in the earlier class, but it's not the experience of that person. Remember again and again, a real person you can find only in the crisis situations. ఓ 100 సార్లు పెట్టుంటాను నేను స్వరా జర్నీ గ్రూప్ లో ఈ ఫ్రేజ్. డోంట్ మిస్ దట్. కానీ అందరం కూడా అది మిస్ అయిపోయాం. బికాజ్ we got the idea that the other guy had provided the support, the confidence in me, and immediately the mind, because we knew so much about calcaria, again the idea had shifted with the calcaria. Whereas the person's pattern, as Maheshwari said exactly, the pattern right from the first word giving you the idea of losing. So the idea is losing for this person, but we are seeing on the maintaining, the trying aspect of the case. So the story part is giving you the idea of trying, and the experience part, the subconscious part, giving you the idea of losing. But our mind was prepared to see only the trying part, and we lost the entire case. Likewise, in this case also, in this girl of about 25 years age, or some a little bit elder, as she said, the idea of security, the idea of financial things, the idea of some success in her life regarding some job, security, etc. My mind had stuck in that aspect, and I gave her the calcarea silicata. The silicata part was clear, no doubt about it, but the cation was not the calcarea. And after few months, I was back at the starting point only, because I couldn't help the case. The case had gone nowhere. So I reassessed the case, again took the case a little bit deeper. Now I find that the main idea for this person, although she was telling previously about the job, security, etc., the real theme hidden behind is the idea of how could I be responsible? How can I handle things? How can I handle things without the support? So now I got the idea. I had made my mind in that way that this is a case more of Beretta rather than calcarea. I had seen the case only through the story part, not through the experience part. So the real idea behind these things, behind the job, behind the security, behind the success, is the idea, am I going to handle these things? Am I can be responsible or not? So case had ended nowhere. So when I gave barium silicatum, so even that remedy was not there. I have to wait from the Pune pharmacy. It took about 1.5 months. So still I waited, and finally I gave the remedy barium silicatum. And from the first dose onwards, she had been improved considerably. That PCO, I don't have the exact scan reports because I lost that case. I forgotten the OP card number. So what happened is that menses became more and more regular. So previously they used it to come once in 2-3 months. Now they are coming for 35 to 40 days. And the dysmenorrhea got better. And mainly the stress she had been facing all through these years regarding how I can handle things had improved dramatically. So these are the salts of barium where the anion will show its part more rather than the cation. So once again, please go through the barium salts. So see the theme running behind the idea of barium, the baryta part, and see the other salts, and see the clinical aspect, the baryta phos, baryta iodine, baryta sulf, baryta more. Try to understand the elements differently. See the experience thing, how the anion experience will be. So the carbon part experience will be in all these responsibilities, all these ideas. At the spur of moment, the person becomes cold and collapse. Whereas the arsenic, the baryta ars, they will be more of fidgety and restlessness. More of the 15th column understanding, losing something, cautious, anxiety, fastidious, restless, suspicious. Whereas when we go to the muraticum understanding, the experience will be more towards something relationships, disappointment in the relationships. So when we go with the baryta phos, the phosphorus ion will give you the experience of movement, moving. We see in the phosphorus materia medica also, this patient wants to get out of house, make from new friends. So the same experience will be found in the idea of phosphorus, that these persons and the experience level does not want to be stuck. They want to move out of the place at that spur of the situation. The physical experience will be moving. When we go to the sulf understanding, the baryta sulf, we will have the idea of barium part, and in the sulf we will get the experience of scorned, rejected, because the sulfur person believes more and more in himself, more pride, more identity, more egoistic. So the opposite thing, when that ego was not satisfied, when that pride does not get its food, the experience of the sulfur will be scorned, rejected, etc. And so when it combines with barium, we will see the anion experience of scorned and rejected, and the cation theme of handling the responsibility, dependent on someone. Am I should be independent or not? Can handle these things or not? can handle these responsibilities or not, can handle these duties or not, can I move along with the idea of becoming or handling other people's things or not. This is the idea for the salts of Pareto. So when we move to the third column, understanding, in the sixth row, so you all know the idea of third column. Enti third column idea? What's the idea in the third column? A general preview of third column. Anyone? Very good. Confused. Very good. Confusion. Excellent. So these people are doubtful people. These people are hesitating people. Doubtful, hesitation, confusion, couldn't decide. Lot of issues of willpower. Dilemma. Exactly. Unsure whether to do or not. And all these column 3 ideas of this unsuring, this dilemma, this confusion, etc. will be seen with the idea of the responsibility things. That's what we see in Lanthanum. So can I take the responsibility or not? Can I handle the responsibilities or not? So these people will go into such an idea, this Lanthanum people will go into such an idea that sometimes as the radioactivity comes up, there will be so much flaring things. So even the use of this element is seen in lasers, the conductors, etc. There is so much of this element Lanthanum's use in those things. The magnetic superconductors, etc. Lasers. So these people are always doubtful. They are always in two minds, whether to do this or not, whether to go ahead or not, whether they can handle things or not, whether they can perform their duties or not. So much instability in the mind. And we have to see the pattern. This instability, this confusion, this dilemma, this unsureness is repeatedly seen in each and every aspect of the case. Even the talk of the column 3 people, they are so much confused. They will ask repeatedly, doctor, can I explain my things rightly? Or are you able to follow me? Am I clear? Am I okay? సో తెలుగులో అయితే నీకు కరెక్ట్గానే చెప్తున్నానంటారా డాక్టర్ గారు, నీకు కరెక్ట్గానే చెప్తున్నానా, నేను చెప్తున్నా అర్థమవుతుంది కదండి మీకు? సో ఈవెన్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద క్లాసికల్ కేసెస్ ఆఫ్ అల్యూమినా, సో whenever these people had been asked something, they will They are, you see that, you identify that these people minds is somewhere. సో మీ పేరు చెప్పండి అంటే చిట్టుబాబు అని. చిట్టుబాబు ఉంటుంది మీ పేరు, సారీ మర్చి మా ఆయన గారి పేరు చెప్పాను. దెర్ ఇస్ నో హర్రీ హియర్. సో షీ కేమ్ ఇన్ టు క్లినిక్, షీ వాజ్ కంఫర్టబుల్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ is good, but still, and this happened thrice in the initial phase and even in later part also. She spoke her husband name for her name. The phone number she had given also is the husband. Then we have to strike back and write the original this lady's phone number and the reports also. So confused these people are. So don't think that everything will come in only in words. Even the habit patterns, even the person when explaining his or her own symptoms, how they speak will definitely give you some idea. So unless the person was much compensated, you can definitely get some idea from whatever was happening in that spur of moment in the clinic. So these people, that Lanthanum people, are more and more unsure, more and more confused, more and more dilemma that they can handle the responsibilities or not. So when this is the column 3 understand, we will repeatedly see right from the top, the alumina, the scandium, the yttrium, the lanthanum. So when we go to the column 4 understanding, these are also unsure people. These are also the people who feel they are inadequate. They are not capable persons. Mostly these are a little bit, we understood the aspect already in the previous classes in the column 5, the column 3, column 4 differences. So the column 4 tantalum, hafnium. Okay. The hafnium people, these are more unsure. These are also unsure people. These will have the uncertainty. These people also have dilemma. These people also have the instability regarding the issues of the role, the duty, my responsibility, can I take them or not, can I take it or not, can I move ahead or not. Lot of such things will come in the hafnium people. So the column 3 is more confused, doubtful, and more looks for the security, more looks for the clingy part of the column 1, more looks for the person whom he or she had been dependent. And the column 4 are a little bit evolved people. They are the people who take off, who are on the runway, who begin, who speak a lot about starting, beginning, communicating, has to do, and that has to do thing is more in column 4 and less in column 3. So the idea for the other person whom they were dependent on is more in column 3, less in column 4. So the other character begins to vanish in column 4. These people begin, these people start, these people take off, these people on the runway, but yet these people are unsure. They are not fully okay. They are not fully. So this is the idea for the tantalum people. They belong to row 6 and the idea of column 4. They start, they begin, they take off, they are on the runway, but yet they are unsure, unstable, hesitant, doubtful. The only difference is that the column 3 people are a little bit more doubtful, more hesitant, more unsure, and will look for the other character who supported them in this, even in the story part. They look for that support. The uncertainty will pertain to such level that they want to be individual, but they should depend. Whereas the column 4 idea is they want to be more and more individual. They begin the things, they begin the task, they move ahead, and the idea for the other person is much less in column 4. So that is the idea for the hafnium people. And when we move to the tantalum, the column 5 understanding of the row 6. Yeah. So the column, we are with the column 3 and column 4 of the row 6. As we already got these things a little bit in the previous classes also, with regarding to the idea of the yttrium and zirconium in the row 5. The idea for yttrium, the idea for zirconium. The same thing happens with the lanthanum and hafnium. Please refer again with the idea of difference between the column 3 and column 4. Only the row issue will change. So the yttrium and zirconium idea will be regarding the performance and creativity, whereas the lanthanum and hafnium idea is more about the duty and responsibility. So the lanthanum people are unsure, doubtful, hesitant, and look for the character and look for that one person whom they are dependent previously and on which they can depend considerably previously. They will look for that person. So the idea for that other thing whom they are, whom we know very much regarding that bicycle example, some person who holds the bicycle from behind, who can guide them, who can monitor them, who can support them. But they feel that now they want to show the individuality, the structure begins to form. So the other person whom they are along with them in the column 2, the other person should walk along with them. That's the idea for column 2. So column 3, the idea will be that the other person will be behind him. He should come first. That is the idea for the column 3. But the unsure, the confusion, that dilemma will be more in the column 3 regarding the duties and responsibilities. That is with the lanthanum. But the hafnium idea is they begin, they start, they move, they take off, they are on the runway, yet they are unsure. So there is now no need to look for that person back. They will start the ride. They will move the ride. The clinginess cuts off, but the unsurety follows. Whereas the scandium or the lanthanum idea is, along with that clinging there will be unsureness. Along with that, the other person's idea who had to be behind him, there will be doubtful, there will be confusion, there will be dilemma, etc. and that person vanishes in column 4. They move, take off, start, begin, but the unsurety continues in the column 4. That is the idea for hafnium. So when we come to tantalum understanding, this is the column 5 idea. So the idea for column 5, we already know in the above rows also. These people now started the journey. There is no idea of going back. They should prepare. But is the preparation enough? The foundation is not so strong. So the uncertainty, unsurety, confusion continues in column 5 also. But these people took the ride, began the ride, but there is no confidence. The confusion clears up to some extent that now they are on the way. అక్కడ వరకే అది కనబడుతుంది. సో వేరే వాళ్ళ మీద ఆధారపడటం కాలం 3, వేరే వాళ్ళు లేరు కాలం 4. నేను చెయ్యాలి కానీ నా ప్రిపరేషన్ సరిపోతుందా లేదా? నా ఫౌండేషన్ సరిగ్గా ఉందా లేదా? కాబట్టి ఆ సంశయం, అనుమానం, చేయగలనా చేయలేనా అనే డౌట్ కాలం 5లో కూడా కంటిన్యూ అవుతుంది. కానీ దాని మోతాదు తగ్గుతూ వస్తుంది. మోతాదు ఎక్కువగా ఉంటే కాలం 3, మీడియంగా ఉంటే కాలం 4, బాగా తక్కువగా ఉంటే కాలం 5. ఆధారపడడం ఎక్కువగా ఉంటే కాలం 3, మైల్డ్గా ఉంటే కాలం 4, బాగా తగ్గిపోతూ ఉంటే కాలం 5. నిర్ణయాత్మక శక్తి తక్కువగా ఉంటే కాలం 3, మైల్డ్గా ఉంటే కాలం 4, పెరిగితే కాలం 5. ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయటం, ఫౌండేషన్ ఉందా లేదా అని ఆలోచన, ఆ ఐడియాయే ఉండదు కాలం 3లో అసలు. ప్రాక్టీస్ అనే క్వశ్చనే లేదు. బికాస్ దే ఆర్ కంఫర్టబుల్ విత్ బీయింగ్ క్లింగీ టు ద whatever thing they are regarding the duties and the responsibilities. That is the Lanthanum understanding. Takes the responsibility. That's the tantalum. Even మనం బాగా చూస్తే గనక tantalum, even the metal, it is used in surgeries. అంటాం కదా ట్రాన్స్ప్లాంట్స్ లో యూజ్ చేసేటువంటి మెటల్ tantalum. దీని మెల్టింగ్ పాయింట్ కూడా చాలా ఎక్కువ, అరౌండ్ 3000 సంథింగ్. సో మచ్ టఫ్ దిస్ మెటల్ ఈస్. So they will go ahead with taking the responsibilities, but they lack the confidence. Whereas the column 3, they never go ahead in taking the responsibilities. So going ahead and coming back is the idea for column 5, because they lack the confidence, but they had the idea of taking decision, and that idea too is sorry. And that idea is too deficient in the column 3. So there is no decision power in column 3. They are okay with the clingy part. They can handle the idea to be, the structure to be developed will be there, but the support, the needs to be supported from behind is there in column 3. But the column 5 people will begin to take the ideas, will begin to take decisions. But at the least moment, even small things, they couldn't handle. They will come back even for trifles. So the idea, Sir Jeptar Sekhar sir, the idea of pendulum, the column 5 people, moving back and forth, moving back and forth. So that idea was clearly established in these column 5 people. So we saw in the vanadium case, I think, in the column, in the row 4, that hotel lady. So 3 గంటలకే లేచి ఇడ్లీలు దోశలు వేసుకోవాల్సినటువంటి situation. A lot of this pendulum, this oscillating things, takes the responsibility, moves a little bit, but comes back even with the idea of trifles will, because they are not so much confident people. That was seen with regarding to financial issues, security in the row 4. The niobium of row 5, the performance, adventure, creativity in the row 5, and the issues of responsibility in row 6 with the idea for tantalum. So much alternation. Sir example bound, pendulum, oscillation, alternating, moving, coming forward and going back. That is the idea for tantalum. So these people take decisions, move a little bit, go ahead, but for mere trifles, they will come back. They will give you the idea that they are not so much confident. I am an inconfident person. నేనంత తెలివైన వాడిని కాదు, నాకంత ఆత్మవిశ్వాసం లేదు. This idea of lack of confidence will be definitely seen in column 5 people. Whether whatever row they belong, they will definitely give the idea of that I am not a confident person. But on perceiving the case, you will see the idea of that they are on the verge of beginning. కానీ మనం లోపలికి చూసినట్టయితే, కేసు బాగా పూర్వాపరాలు పరిశీలించినట్టయితే, దిస్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ లేకపోవటం అనేది కాలం 3ది కాదు, కాలం 5దని మనకి కొంత లోపలికి చూస్తే అర్థమవుతుంది. You will find that these people begin to take anything. కాబట్టి మొదలు పెట్టడం అనేది వీళ్ళు చేస్తున్నారు. Whether that will be vanadium, that will be niobium, or whether that will be tantalum, మొదలు పెట్టడం, ముందుకు వెళ్ళటం అనేది కొంతవరకు ఖచ్చితంగా జరుగుతుంది. కానీ ఏమాత్రం చిన్న ఇబ్బందులు వచ్చినా they will immediately come back and give you the idea that చిన్న వాటికి కూడా నేను ఇబ్బంది పడుతూ ఉంటానండి, డెసిషన్ తీసుకోలేనండి, ఎందుకంటే నాకు అంత ఆత్మవిశ్వాసం లేదు, నేనంత ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వలేదు. And you will see even the postponing things in this tantalum. They will, and even in the vanadium and niobium also, you see the idea of postponing. These people postpone so much because they feel they are not so much grounded. They are not so much prepared. The foundation, correct word ade, నా ఫౌండేషన్ అంత స్ట్రాంగ్ గా లేదు. సో the escape route for these persons is they postpone things because they feel the foundation is strong, not so strong. They feel they are unsure. They feel they lack these things. They lack the confidence. But yet you find that these people start something, begin something, take off something, not like the column 3 people who just looks for the other person who was standing beside. And this important theme is you have to observe in the column 3, 4, 5. Because ఎందుకంటే అన్షూర్నెస్, డైలమా, అన్సర్టెనిటీ ఖచ్చితంగా ఈ 3 కాలమ్స్ లోనూ ఉంటాయి. The scandium, titanium, vanadium, the yttrium, zirconium, niobium, the lanthanum, hafnium and tantalum. All these 9 elements look a little bit similar. కేసుల్లో మనం చూడాల్సి వచ్చినప్పుడు అన్సర్టెనిటీ, అన్షూరిటీ ఏ మేర ఉంది. అందుకే స్ట్రక్చర్ ఐడియా మన మనస్సుల్లో మెదలాలి. వెదర్ దీస్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ yet to begin the structure. There are more of column 3 people, the scandium, yttrium and lanthanum. When these people leave the idea of clinging and moving ahead, then we'll go to the idea of titanium, zirconium and hafnium. And when they begin these things, they will fall in the column 5, the tantalum, the niobium and vanadium. So this is the idea for the 3, 4, 5 columns with regarding to all the rows. Please refer to the previous classes also once or twice to get more clear picture. The idea of dilemma, uncertainty, unsureness will be seen clearly in 3, 4, 5 columns. There is no starting in column 3. There is commencing in beginning in column 4, and the lack of confidence, started things, move ahead, yet the foundation is weak, is in idea for the column 5 people. And when we go to the column 6 idea, so you all know this element very much, the tungsten. టంగ్స్టన్ తెలుసు కదా అందరికి. దేంట్లో యూజ్ చేస్తాం టంగ్స్టన్? we use this metal, very important. ఎవరని చెప్తారా? టంగ్స్టన్ bulbs, very good, very good. Bulbs, yeah. What's the main important thing? It is used in cutting pliers. So the tungsten is highly used in these cutting pliers, where they cut the steel, etc. Yeah, bullets. Well, yes, bullets also. So the filaments in bulb, the cutting instruments, the bullets, because the idea for tungsten, even the melting point is much higher even than tantalum. కటింగ్ ప్లేయర్ అంటే మనం ఇంట్లో కట్ చేసుకునేది కాదు, స్టీల్ అవి కట్ చేస్తారు కదా, హై మెటల్స్ కట్ చేయడానికి వాడే వాటిల్లో. డ్రిల్లర్స్ అంటాం కదా, డ్రిల్లర్ మెటల్స్ ని కట్ చేయడానికి అలా అలా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి మనం. మెటల్స్ ని కట్ చేయడానికి వాడే వాటికి టంగ్స్టన్ హెల్ప్ తీసుకుంటారు. సో we all know the idea on basis of previous classes. The challenge begins here. Proving, challenge, risk, takes risk, structure begins. And we see this clearly. మనం molybdenum లో క్లియర్ గా చెప్పుకున్నాం. The idea to prove themselves, the chromium people, the molybdenum people, the tungsten people. So these metals, these high metals, this tungsten, there is a lot of issues of challenge. So the column up to now, the uncertainty, unsureness, these things do not creep into the sixth column. ఈ సిక్స్త్ కాలంలో మనం ఈవెన్ పై నుంచి చదువుకున్న క్రోమియంలో కానీ ఇంకా మనం క్రోమియంలో చెప్పుకున్నాం కూడా, ద టఫ్నెస్, ఈవెన్ ఆ డిశ్చార్జెస్ కూడా, స్టిక్కీ డిశ్చార్జెస్ ఆఫ్ క్యాలీ బైక్ మీకు గుర్తుండే ఉంటది. క్రోమియం ఐడియా మనం చెప్పుకుంటున్నప్పుడు చాలా క్లియర్ గా చెప్పుకున్నాం. టు ప్రూవ్ హిమ్సెల్ఫ్, టు షో హిమ్సెల్ఫ్. With regarding to the success, security, financial issues, job, etc. in the row 4, the performance of molybdenum in the row 5, and here the tungsten issues are leadership qualities. So these are tough guys. These will take the challenge, wants to prove themselves. The idea of dependency vanishes. Now they begin to lead things. They నిర్ణయాలు తీసుకుంటారు. They will take decisions, face risks, proves themselves. And there is the idea of proving. నన్ను నేను ప్రూవ్ చేసుకోవాలని ఉంటుంది వీళ్ళకి. These people are, you can call, dare people. Daring, dashing guys అంటాం. At one point of time, అందుకనే కింగ్ సిరీస్ అనేది దీనికోసమే. The idea of king series begins from tungsten. The tungsten, the rhenium, the osmium, the iridium, the platinum, the aurum. The king series begins from tungsten. So there is a lot of high metals, lot of high issues like the Felidian people in the animal kingdom. So that is the idea for the tungsten people. They want to prove themselves. They will take the risks. They will take the challenges. They will take the leadership. The experience of this person, of these persons, is proving. కాబట్టి వీళ్ళు రిపీటెడ్ గా మాట్లాడే మాట, the key word for the row, for column 6 people is, I have to prove myself. That is the key word for the column 6. Proving, challenging, risk taking, daring, dashing. అండ్ ఇవి మొన్న రాఘవన్ కూడా అడిగినప్పుడు అదే చెప్పాను. సో ఈవెన్ దే, ఇక్కడే డిఫరెన్స్. వెన్ యూ విల్ టేక్ ద స్టోరీ పార్ట్, ఉదాహరణకి మన పెల్లాడియం కేసు ఉంది. సో షీ హ్యాస్ ద ఐడియా ఆఫ్ మేకింగ్ న్యూ థింగ్స్, క్రియేటివిటీ. ఒకసారి వేసిన డిజైన్ నేను వేయను, ఒకసారి నేను చూసింది మళ్ళీ చూడను. I will try different things. And most of the people want to acknowledge me. They want to, and I took the case to such extent that at last she said, I need appreciation. If at that point they say that I want to prove myself, Raghavan, ఉన్నావా? నీ అర్థమైందా? నువ్వు మొన్న కూడా మనం అనుకున్నాం, గుర్తుందా నీకు? ఫస్ట్ ర్యాంక్ రావటం, ద ఐరన్ డస్ నాట్ డిటర్మిన్ అబౌట్ ఫస్ట్ ర్యాంక్. ద ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ when they achieve something, even they achieve something, is success for column 10, but proving for the column 5. Sorry, 6. Risk taking, challenging. It's not the story part. Even then, when they achieve success, they will give you the inference of, yes, I have to prove myself. సరిపోదండి, ప్రూవ్ చేసుకోవాలి, మనకు ఛాలెంజ్ తీసుకోవాలి, రిస్క్ తీసుకోవాలి. దట్స్ ద ఐడియా దీస్ పీపుల్ గివ్. దట్స్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ ఆఫ్ బిట్వీన్ ద ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అండ్ ద స్టోరీ. కాబట్టి స్టోరీ పార్ట్ లో మనకి ఫస్ట్ ర్యాంక్ వచ్చింది అనగానే కాలం 10 గుర్తుకు రాకూడదు. సక్సెస్ వచ్చిందనగానే నిఖిల్ గుర్తు రాకూడదు. సక్సెస్ లో వాళ్ళ అనుభూతి ఏంటి, వాళ్ళకు వచ్చింది మనకి సక్సెస్ అవ్వచ్చు, కానీ వాళ్ళకి ఇంకా రావాలని అంటుంటే వాళ్ళు కాలం 9 లో పడతారు. ఇంకా పట్టుదల ప్రదర్శించాలంటే కాలం 8 లో పడతారు. నన్ను నేను ప్రూవ్ చేసుకోవాలంటే కాలం 6 లో పడతారు. షార్పెన్ అవ్వాలంటే కాలం 7 లో పడతారు. ప్రూవింగ్, షార్పెనింగ్, పెర్సెవరెన్స్, సక్సెస్ ఇన్సైట్, సక్సెస్. దట్ ఈస్ ద 6 to 10 columns idea. ఒకటే అచీవ్మెంట్, ఫస్ట్ ర్యాంకు, ఉదాహరణకి ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఏదో ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ తీసుకోవాలి కాబట్టి, కాలం 10 లో వాళ్ళ అనుభూతి సక్సెస్ అయితే కాలం 9 లో ఇంకా రావాలని ఉంటుంది. కాలం 8 లో పట్టుదలగా చేయాలండి, ఇది వచ్చితే మనం కూర్చోకూడదు అని ఉంటుంది. ఇది ఇంకా మన యూనివర్సిటీ వాటిల్లో కూడా చూపించాలి అని ఉంటుంది. కాలం 7 లో కొంచెం షార్పెన్ చేసుకుంటే బెటర్ సార్, ఉన్నాయి కానీ ఇంకా బాగా షార్పెన్ చేసుకోవాలి స్కిల్స్. కాలం 6 లో ప్రూవ్ చేసుకోవాలండి, ఇంకా ప్రూవ్ చేసుకోవాలని అని ఉంటుంది. దట్స్ ద డిఫరెన్స్. సో ద టంగ్స్టన్ విల్ గివ్ యూ ద ఐడియా ఆఫ్ టఫ్నెస్, the idea of challenging, the idea of proving, the idea of taking risk. And they like these things. That is the beauty. So the idea of risk, challenge, proving, daring, dashing, and need to handle the pressure. And the same thing you find in the metal also. Handling pressure, cutting metal instruments, handling electric current in a filament. How much I can handle? What's the experience of a filament in a bulb? Suddenly you will put the bulb on or off. There will be lot of electric current flowing through this. This is open circuit, closed circuit. Much better physics. So if the circuit is closed, current flows through. If the circuit is open, current flow stops. The charge stops. So the idea for the filament is to handle these ups and downs of the electric current when there is circuit is closed and the circuit is open. Physics in homeopathy. The structure is going to be tested now. There is the idea of, yes, I have to handle the test. I have to handle the pressure. The exact position of Mr. Shubman Gill in the second test of Melbourne. So he was newly recouped. The ball is moving so much. High quality pace bowling attack. You are going to test your challenge, your ability, your capacity, your skills. your duties, your responsibilities, how you are scoring at about of 60 odd in the first class games in India, but the real test comes whether you can handle the responsibility of an opening batsman when the ball is moving so much. And how he handled, beautifully he handled that pressure. So that's the idea for the tungsten. Okay, so we conclude here and we will continue our talk with the rhenium, osmium, iridium, platina, etc. in the next session. Hope you got more and more clear understanding. Na varaku aithe I think it's the very good understanding regarding the columns, because there is so much confusion. నాకు కూడా చాలా కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఉండేది యాక్చువల్గా ఈ 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because all these people are trying people. Where the experience is, how to find the experience. This is, no one is going to teach you this subtle understanding of sharpening or polishing, proving or challenging, perseverance, got something and need to be perseverant, and the success, the self-doubt, the fear of humiliation of column 9, the experience of self-appreciation, the experience of achievement, the experience of success, the talk of success. We will see a little bit, a small video case also, how the talk will be of these successful persons in the next session. Okay? Okay. Thank you all. Thank you so much. So, yeah. Tomorrow we have a wonderful day. One of the master had born tomorrow. So, Constantine Herring. పుట్టినరోజు శుభాకాంక్షలు మీ అందరికీ. సో నాకైతే మాత్రం అది ఒక పండగ. హెరింగ్ పుట్టినరోజు కానీ, కెంట్ పుట్టినరోజు కానీ, హ్యానిమన్ పుట్టినరోజు కానీ, ఇంతకు ముందు అయితే కొత్త బట్టలు కూడా వేసుకునేవాడిని, బట్ నౌ ఐ స్టాప్ ఎట్ దట్. బట్ ఎనీవే, ఏ వండర్ఫుల్ డే. అంటే మనం పురాణాల్లో పరమశివుడి గురించి తెలుసుకున్నాం. ఆయన చాలా మందికి ఐడియా ఉండే ఉంటది. సముద్ర మదనంలో ఆయన విషాన్ని మింగి గొంతులో దాచుకున్నారు. కిందకి వెళ్ళనివ్వలేదు, పైకి రానివ్వలేదు. భూమి ప్రపంచం పాడైపోతుంది, విశ్వం అంతమైపోతుందని. లోపలికి వెళ్తే ఆయనకి ప్రాబ్లము. సో రెండు మేనేజ్ చేసుకుంటూ కంఠంలో మార్చుకుని ఆయన నీలకంఠుడయ్యాడు. సో ఆ పరమేశ్వరుని అంశతో జన్మించిన ఆయనే ఈ కాన్స్టాంటైన్ హెరింగ్. పాపం ఆయన కంఠం కూడా డ్యూ టు లెక్సిస్ ప్రూవింగ్ హ్యాడ్ టర్న్డ్ బ్లూ. యుగ పురుషుడు అంటాం. 1800వ శతాబ్దం January 1 ఆయన యుగ పురుషుడు జననం. సో ఐ డోంట్ బిలీవ్ ఇన్ ద అదర్ థింగ్స్. సారీ టు బి ఎ లిటిల్ బిట్, నాకు మిగతా అంత ఇష్టం ఉండవు, కానీ హెరింగ్ పుట్టినరోజును మాత్రం ఖచ్చితంగా మనం సెలబ్రేట్ చేసుకోవాలి. వీలుంటే రేపు ఒక మంచి ఏదో ఒక ఔషధాన్ని తీసుకుని చదువుకోండి. కనీసం ఒక 5 నుంచి 10 నిమిషాలు ఆయన గురించి ధ్యానం చేసుకోండి. సో హెరింగ్ తో పాటు ఆయన శిష్యుడు ఫ్యారింగ్టన్ పుట్టినరోజు కూడా రేపే. హెరింగ్ ఎన్నో కళ్ళగన్నాడు పాపం ఫ్యారింగ్టన్ గురించి. బట్ ఫ్యారింగ్టనే ముందు వెళ్ళిపోయాడు హెరింగ్ కన్నా, అది వేరే విషయం అనుకోండి. సో వెన్ ఐ డై ఫ్యారింగ్టన్ విల్ ఫినిష్ మై వర్క్ అని చెప్పాడు పాపం హెరింగ్. సో అది జరగలేదు, ఫ్యారింగ్టన్నే ముందు వెళ్ళిపోయాడు, శిష్యుడే ముందు వెళ్ళిపోయాడు. సో ఎనీవే, best wishes for all of you regarding the most precious day of the entire year, according one of the precious days for the homeopaths. So happy birthday, Herring. Happy birthday, Farrington. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheswarah, Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.